Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com, just bringing you a quick Dark Potential update. There's a couple of things that I've posted on the forums, and there's some developments that we're working on. Just wanted to bring you up to speed to where we're at, because since the fundraisers ended, I haven't been putting up daily videos of new concept art and everything like that. The art's actually slowed down a little bit because we've been moving more into the sculpting stage, so I don't have a lot to show you. I do currently have artists working on, I have two artists working on environmental art. I'm trying to get like the different major cities done with various things. I've got somebody working on concepts for the Xanthos spaceships, including their big bioformers. I've got 3 writers currently working on getting the lore done. We're actually pretty close to having the Xanthos history done. The main history is just about done. The war is pretty much done. And the Reclaimers are in good progress as well as the corporation. And so hopefully by, within the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have some at least rough draft PDFs that we can publish so you can see where we're at for the storylines for those. And we've already got some sculpts that are on their way here. I've already got some 3D sculpts done, but the scaling was a little off, so we had to redo them, which is a little tricky at this point. So anyway, the couple things that we need to talk about in the forum right now is we're really debating about suppressive fire, and it's completely changed from what it used to be. So if you've been watching the playtest and you've seen us doing the suppressive fire, the new idea that I have, and I've basically compiled a few different ideas that people suggested on the forums. Then I've done some research on my own, just like looking into just what suppression fire really is, reading up articles and all of that, and how it works in real life, just to get a really good idea of how it could translate over into the game and how it could be a useful tactic. The trick is coming up with something that will make you want to do that instead of just firing at the enemy. Because you fire at the enemy, you have a chance of hitting them, then you have a chance of winning them, and even if you just hit them, then that forces a leadership test, and they might run if they fail that leadership test. Which obviously you want to do all that. You want to hit them, wound them, and make them run. Whereas suppressive fire really is meant to kind of just move them around, deny them an area. And so here's what we're going to try out. And I've put this in the forum. So there's a link below to the Dark Potential Mechanics discussion forum. So go there to reply to this. Rather than posting a comment to this video, reply on the forums. That way you can be part of the discussion. But what I've proposed to do, and like I said, this is a combination of a bunch of people's ideas, is that a squad that has at least 3 members alive and a rate of fire of at least 2, or solos with a weapon that has the suppression fire special rule, which you're going to see, like the machine gun, for example, will have that. Not something like the sniper. The sniper already has enough advantages there. Can choose, if they spend a command point as an action, to do suppressive fire on a squad that they can, on a squad or a solo that they can see that's in line of sight, that's within 3 times the range of their weapon. And they basically fire, and they fire just as a normal shot, except they ignore the defense of the person that they're firing at, because they're not really trying to hit it, they're just trying to hit around it. But they still take into consideration the cover and the range distance, and if there's a gravity mine or smoke or whatever that might lend extra defense or a modification to that. And if they hit, then the target takes a leadership test with a negative modifier equal to the margin of success of the hit, which will generally be pretty high because you're ignoring the defense. So that's at least 3 or 4 defense that you're ignoring, and sometimes even higher. And if they fail that leadership test, then they are suppressed. And when you are suppressed, the next turn, that squad cannot activate at all. And if it's a solo with a commander special rule, then people won't be able to use him as a commander. So it's kind of like they're fleeing, but they're not fleeing. They just don't activate at all. That sounds harsh, but the idea is that if you're nearby a commander with his command points, then most likely you're not going to be able to suppress somebody, but you could suck out a lot of command points. And and if somebody's completely out of command points and they're not near a commander, then this is almost a surefire way of suppressing that squad and keeping their heads down. So you have to sacrifice firing at them. So it'll only be used in situations where firing at them may produce a casualty. You don't have like this huge chance of producing that casualty. And so you just hitting them and forcing a leadership check on no modifier is obviously not going to be the most effective thing. And we'll have to play test it to see how well it's used and see if it really is worth it. So I need your feedback on that. Go to the forums. The link is below. You can comment here too, but like I said, if you really want your voice to be heard, then participate in that forum discussion. We should be coming with more playtest videos next week. I know we didn't do any this week. It's because we've been busy with a lot of other things too, and just hunkering down and getting a lot of the art and the lore and all that kind of stuff done. So I'm going to leave it at that. Give us your opinion and join in the discussion for Dark Potential so you can be part of it. A lot of the game mechanics have been developed, the ideas have been taken from what people are saying, and so we're going to be developing the Salvagers rules very soon, because I think it's time to throw in a third faction, because I think the Atlantis and the Corporation are shaping up really nice. They still need a lot more units and stuff, but you know, we'll add those in later. We have a core group of units in there, and I think that's working out really well. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. This is Matthew from MiniWarGaming. Happy wargaming.